So next thing that is generally there in the papers is this term called monetary policy. Okay, so the thing is, in every economy there is it's obviously the responsibility of the governments to regulate the economy, right? Now there are two ways in which governments in every country, more specifically India, they take certain decisions, and there are two ways about two ways whereby they influence the economic decisions that other factors of production in the economy make, right? So one is through the monetary policy and the other is through the fiscal policy. Okay, so fiscal policy pertains to basically the policy of taxation and spending of the government. So let's say the government wants to raise the income tax, the government introduces GST, it wants to change certain rates of income tax, that would fall under the fiscal policy, right? Because that is pertaining to taxation and spending of government. So let's say tomorrow that we talked about the national infrastructure pipeline, right? So the government has decided to spend 102 lakh crore rupees on infrastructure. So that is a part of the fiscal policy. Okay. Now the other way that the government regulates this is through the RBI. Okay. So RBI is basically the entity which is responsible for making decisions vis-a-vis money. So anything vis-a-vis, let's say if there are decisions with regards to raising the interest rate, reducing the interest rate, and yesterday we read about how the merchant discount rate for your RuPay and UPI cards has been done away with. So anything and everything related to money specifically is known as the monetary policy, and that is the sole domain of the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so now another very important component. One second. Yeah. So another very important component of an economy is the banking system, right? So RBI's primary job, apart from issuing monetary policy of India, is also to regulate the various number of banks that exist in India. Okay. So the RBI has certain rates, the RBI has certain policies whereby how it does, so using which it does and it regulates all these banks. So let's look at these policies in a little detail. So the first thing is the repo rate. Okay. So repo rate basically means the rate at which Reserve Bank of India gives a loan to other banks in India. Okay. And then there is another thing called the reverse repo rate. So reverse repo rate effectively means the rate at which RBI borrows money from the commercial banks of India. Okay. Now, let me tell you what CRR and SLR are, and then this repo rate and reverse repo rate would become more relevant for you. You would have seen these terms in newspapers that RBI has slashed the repo rate or the RBI has increased the repo rate. So what sort of implications it can have on the economy? Let's first look at what CRR and SLR are, and then we'll understand these things. Okay. So RBI basically has two guidelines for banks. Banks are supposed to maintain two very important ratios. The first ratio that we mentioned here is the CRR, or the cash reserve ratio, and the second ratio that I want to talk to about is the SLR, or the statutory liquidity ratio. Okay, so very simply put, cash reserve ratio is the amount of money that every bank has to deposit to the RBI. Okay, it's a percentage of the total money that the banks have lent out. So the idea, so that's how banks work, right? So let's say banks will take 100 rupees from me, then the banks will give me 5% interest in 1 year. However, the banks would want to use that 100 rupees and lend it to a business at 10%, and the difference between the 5% the banks makes from me and the 10% that the bank makes from the business is effectively that 5 rupees that the banks make is the profit. Right. So if there was no RBI, then the banks would basically say that if Abhinav is giving me 100 rupees, I'm going to lend all of these 100 rupees to a company so that I can make a profit. Right. But RBI doesn't want to do that, because let's say if tomorrow I go to a bank and say, okay, now I really want my 100 rupees back, there is an emergency, I need my funds back. The banks would then say, no, we thought you will come back later and we just don't have the money to give you back. Right. So that would cause a crash in the financial system. Now, to mitigate that, the RBI says that the banks have to maintain a certain deposit of cash with the RBI, known as the cash reserve ratio. Okay. Now, similarly, the RBI says that apart from maintaining a healthy cash reserve ratio, another thing that the banks have to do is that they have to maintain a specific statutory liquidity ratio. So the statutory liquidity ratio basically is that the banks have to maintain a certain class of assets. These could be government securities, sovereign bonds, or other such securities that the government of India or RBI has specifically dictated, right? So banks have to maintain two things, CRR and statutory liquidity ratio. Okay. So now, So now that I hope you have understood these basic terms. Those are CRR and SLR. Let's see how these effectively work, right? So let's say the cash reserve ratio is X percent, right? So banks are supposed to keep X percent of money in deposits, and they have 100 minus X only to lend, right? So let's say the RBI says that, okay, I want banks to lend more money. The banks are not lending more money. So the RBI then says that, okay, I will reduce the cash reserve ratio. So now RBI says that the cash reserve ratio is a little less than X, which means that more funds are freed with the bank, and the banks can use more of these funds to lend to other companies and therefore boost the economy. Now the RBI can do the converse of this. If the RBI thinks that the banks are lending too much money and therefore that is causing some form of an inflationary pressure in the economy, then the RBI could increase the cash reserve ratio, and therefore the banks would then not have enough money to lend out to the other corporates, and that would somehow curb inflation. Okay. Now RBI can either do this directly by altering the CRR or the SLR, but that's something that RBI really doesn't do. What RBI can sometimes effectively does is that it twinkles with the repo rate and the reverse repo rate. Okay, so the idea of CRR, or the cash reserve ratio, is basically that the RBI is the banks are supposed to have certain cash with them, so that when their depositors come and demand money from them, the banks can use this cash to pay off their depositors, right? So now the repo rate I told you is the rate at which the central bank, the RBI, gives loan to these banks, right? So let's say the repo rate is so let's say if the RBI wants these banks to lend more money to corporates, what RBI can do is RBI will say that, okay, I will reduce the repo rate, which means that if banks at a later date or want to, let's say, borrow money from the RBI to pay back these depositors who might come suddenly and would ask money from the banks, then obviously there would be certain calculations that the banks are making, right? So obviously, let's say the banks are going to lend at an 8% rate to a borrower, and the RBI says that the repo rate is also 8%. So at this point of time, the banks are indifferent. They can either keep and maintain a healthy cash reserve ratio, or they can go to the RBI and borrow, because at both junctures the cost of the fund is 8% only. However, if let's say the RBI says that, okay, I want banks to lend more money, so RBI says that I will reduce the repo rate to 6%. Now the calculation that the banks will make is that if I keep this money with me in the form of a reserve ratio, then I stand to lose out on the 8% profit that the company might give to me. And if let's say if I give the money to the company and I make an 8% profit out of it, and if suddenly there are certain depositors who come to me and then they start asking for this money, then what I can do is I can go to the Reserve Bank of India and then I can borrow at a 6% rate. So effectively, the banks are going to net out that 2% profit, right? So that's how RBI manipulates how much the banks are going to lend to companies in the economy. So similarly, if the RBI wants the banks to not lend money, then it increases the repo rate, right? So therefore, the banks say that it is now, if the repo rate is 10%, okay, and the profit that they would have made if they had lent out this money to a corporate would be 8%. Now the banks would say that if let's say tomorrow the consumers come and start demanding money from me, I will make an 8% from the money that I give to this company. However, I will have to borrow from the RBI at 10%, and therefore I will incur an effective loss of 2%. Okay, so I hope this is a little clear vis-a-vis how RBI, using its monetary policy, manages certain decisions of the banks, right? Because effectively RBI's primary job is to act as a banker of banks, and it is to act as a regulator of banks, right? So I hope this is a little clear to you.